After narrowly missing out on the Championship playoffs last season, the board have decided to back me, it seems, by throwing a whole load of extra wage budget and the biggest transfer budget we've ever had at me. This is going to be an interesting summer. Hello and welcome to part 90 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the season review stuff, you know how that works, including checking in on our Patreon players, plus all of our summer transfers. That's summer transfers with a capital summer. Because goodness me, look at how much money we've been given. A £600,000 transfer budget. I know we finished 7th in the Championship last year, so that's like one shin of a player you'd expect us to strengthen with. But for us, that's an extraordinary amount of money, especially when you consider we're still over £1 million in debt with a projection for it to get even worse. I don't really know what the board are thinking, and they've only given me 10% of transfers that we sell to. Basically, we're not going to be able to increase that by selling anyone. So 600,000 is what we've got, and £78,000 as wage budget. I think that's slightly more than we had last season, maybe not significantly, but we've got, what have we got? £13,000 a week wage budget to play with, £600,000. We have got a player already scheduled to leave, which I guess is where their £600,000 has come from, because Josh Mann is joining Celtic on the 9th of June for £600,000. So it looks like they've given me all of that and then said, that's your lot, which is fair enough. I didn't expect to get this money, so I can't really complain. So I'm a little bit frustrated, actually, because the board are the ones who forced through this sale, and now they're letting me spend it again. And I think I'd have rather kept him as a promising youngster and just done a normal transfer window. But let's have a look to see what we can do to wage budget if we put all the transfer budget over there. Oh, that's a lot of wages. That is a lot of wages. Interesting. So we've got a big summer ahead of us. If we just have a look at the Championship table, I don't want to look at the table itself. What I want to look at is the stats for team detailed, I think it is. The one where we can see what we're competing with. So just to give you some context, in fact, there you go, net transfer spend for us this season. We were 6th on net transfer spend because there was only 5 clubs in the division who actually had a positive net transfer spend: QPR, Blackburn, Ipswich, Barnsley, Wigan. This is kind of defeating the purpose of my point. And then you've got Watford, who had a £74 million transfer profit. But where ours is significantly different is our annual salaries. If we have a look at salaries, Blackburn paying out £66 million of salaries a season, whereas we paid out £2.6 million. So this is where we really suffer in competing with the other clubs. I mean, the next best club have got 3 times the budget that we've got, and our budget isn't really going up for next year. So we are still going to have to be completely outperforming what you would expect from us. I imagine the board will still be just asking us to battle bravely against relegation again next year. If they're looking for any more than that, they're looking for a miracle, quite frankly. But, 7th place was pretty miraculous in itself. But we're going to zoom forward now, do the season review stuff when that pops up, and then get stuck into some transfers. In fact, we already have a couple of players already agreed to come in. I started my transfers early this summer, so Tony Robertson, our record signing, is leaving on a free. This is why I don't want money to spend, because I'll waste it and then but we have already agreed to bring in a couple of youngsters. Gavin Sumner is an 18-year-old left back from Manchester City who is not quite as good as what we've already got, but has the potential to be much better. And Gabriel Papo is an 18-year-old English midfielder from Liverpool, similar mould, in that he's not quite as good as what we've got now, but has the potential to be much better than what we've got now. So a couple of good youngsters coming in, equally a good youngster going out, and a record signing too. So it's a weird starting point for us, but we'll see where we end up by the end of the video, I guess. For those of you who follow the Non-League to Legend series as well as this one, baffling. Can't get a job like this for love nor money in Non-League to Legend, and here I am linked to Manchester City in the media. I haven't even looked at the job centre on this series, as you can see by the fact it's still scouts and physios and oh my word. Right, managers. Manchester City. So I'm not the favourite, but I am being linked with it. Oh my, that's mad. Absolutely mad. Yeah, I'm not going to Manchester City, but did think that was interesting. Never once have I been linked with a job like that in the series where I want to be linked with a job like that. Here we go then, season review, end of season awards, etc. time. So as ever, we start off with the overall best 11, which David Sawinski is now a part of. Him and Ross Wright are the two players who've made it into the all-time best 11 this season. So Sawinski now 110 appearances, 17 goals, averaging a 6.95. We've had a problem in central midfield forever, it seems. Ross Wright makes it in as well. So the full team now: Humphreys in goal, a back four of Webber, Santos, Wright and Daly Campbell, Benson as the holding midfielder. What? Sawinski and Fernandez, despite having 5 years of not being able to play together in the first team, now have to play together for eternity in the greatest home team of all time. And then Seth Patrick is now the left winger. What? Some of the left wingers we've had. Seth Patrick, who's now 28, playing for Bromsgrove Sporting. Seth Patrick, who played 26 games for us and scored 10 goals. They were all as a striker. Not once did he ever play on the wing. This is best 11 that Sir Mick Powell isn't a part of, but Seth Patrick gets in the starting 11 of. I mentioned in the last episode, this save's getting glitchy. So Patrick, Stanley and Harris is the front three. And on the bench, Mayle, Carter, Critchlow Noble, Wolf, O'Brien, Buckley and Matondo. What is Seth Patrick doing in that team? So the all-time best 11, where are they now? We know where they all are. They're all off doing things. We need to go and find Dean Morris individually now that he's not in the all-time best 11 anymore. So Dean Morris, now 25, playing for Tottenham. We'll scout him. We'll be in the Premier League soon. We'll just be at the point where we can afford to sign him, just as he turns 31, and he'll get to play his final season for us, and it'll be delightful. He'll come back of that, I am sure. So that's what Dean Morris is up to. I don't think we have any more who got away, really, if we just look at our sales, I guess. Connor Stanley's there. Sawinski, obviously, we still have. Carmichael, we've ruined him by bringing him on loan for 2 years and not using him. Fernandez we brought back, yeah. So Morris is really the only one away now. And the end of season awards: Gregson gets Player of the Year, 34% of the vote, followed by Wearmouth, and then Matondo. David Sawinski, Goal of the Season. Let's have a look at his Goal of the Season. Mr. Sawinski, take up Step a Bow, another one of the many awards that you're collecting during a time here at Home Football Club. There you go, eventually loaded. So Matondo flick on, and then Fernandez nods down to Matondo. Sawinski's picked that up very deep. Is he going to hit it from there? So it's a decent goal from David Sawinski. Excellent stuff. Ross Wright gets signing of the season on a free transfer from Sheffield United. He is a good signing. He's going to be here for many years to come. He'll still be playing in our defence when we're in the Premier League. Gregson, young player of the season. So the team of the year: Humphreys in goal, Wearmouth, Rogers, Wright and Gregson at the back, Harrison, Fernandez and Sawinski in midfield, Moss, Harris, Matondo in attack. That looks about right. And the golden generation now, apparently, is David Sawinski, Loic Fernandez, Anthony Harris, Sir Mick Powell and Shane Phillips are classed as the golden generation, which I can get on board with that. And they all came through the youth team roughly at the same time. Sawinski's 4 years younger than Shane Phillips, but still classed as the same generation. Obviously, you'd put Dean Morris in that number as well. Stats for the season: Harris, top scorer of 23, Wearmouth, highest average rating, Matondo most assists, Harrison most pass completion, Gregson most man of the match awards. And there's the naughty boys down at the bottom. This is what that's our season review. Obviously we overperformed. We all know we overperformed. And this is what the side of 2021 is up to. So this is the team that won the National League North and finished runners-up in the FA Trophy. So 10 of them are now retired. Sir Mick Powell, the only one still at the club. So Shane Phillips didn't make it into the team of the year that year because obviously he's still here. So Oscar Vaughan's at Dundalk. I get told off for saying that wrong. Is it Dundalk? Is that right? Connor Stanley at Wimbledon. Ike Pozo. Whatever happened to Ike Pozo? Real Union. he was never as good as we thought he was going to be, is he? Diallo is at Carlisle, Benson at Torquay, Cottrell at Telford, and the ones that are now retired, there's a lot of them that are now retired. Joseph Colley now retired. How? I can see him, he's right there. Oh no, these are the other players to feature. That makes more sense. These aren't... Oh, so some of these are retired. Colley must be on the verge of retiring because the rest of these are all retired. Oh, it's like it's the Hall of Fame of players who... I mean, Matty Wolf, I feel bad for Matty Wolf. He only left us last year, never found another club. Well, I never. Dynamics, our team leaders, as you would expect, Sir Mick Powell, Anthony Harris and Lerick Fernandez. End of season team meeting. Our plans for next year. We've done well to avoid relegation. We'll do just as well to make sure we're not involved in a battle next season. That's our target. Going into next season, I think we're in a good position to avoid a relegation battle. I think that's the one we've got to be aiming for. They agree. Excellent stuff. We don't want to set our sights too high. This season is a bit of a fluke. We are going to have second season syndrome next year. Of that, I am fairly certain. And let's check in with the Patreon players. So, do I still have them on a shortlist? I think the shortlist has kind of been a thing that we don't have anymore. Nathan Curry is still on the shortlist. He is at Dagenham. And I think everyone else who left is now retired. Sam Lines, was he a Patreon? Yeah, he's another Patreon one. So he's at Bishop Stortford. So they're the two who still exist. The rest of them, if they're not still at the club, we can assume they're retired at this point. So let's get the... In fact, if we just get the under-23s and the under-18s on. So we obviously know about Fernandez, Swinsky, Carmichael. But let's have a look at the ones who are knocking on the door for a first team spot. So Yancey La Rochelle Williams, he came through the youth system this year as part of the new golden generation. We had a lot of good young players come through this year. Right wing back, 2-star current ability, which makes him almost as good as Daley Campbell. I think there's a strong argument for La Rochelle Williams being our backup right back next year. 4.5-star potential as well. So that's just splendid. He's not far away. Josh Mann would have been as well, but he's obviously leaving to go to Celtic. Callum Pryor, is he Patreon or is he? He is. Callum Pryor is another Patreon boy. He's 17 now, so been with us a couple of seasons. 2-star current ability, 5-star potential in midfield. So he's currently at Alex Carmichael level already, presumably with better potential than Alex Carmichael. So if we sold this guy for £1.4 million, I would expect to be fielding offers for Callum Pryor this summer. But it's a name I've not seen linked anywhere really, so... Maybe not. Kane Bryan, no, he's a real person. Drew Nixon, we know he's real. Drew Whalen, I think is Patreon. He is. Now, we saw a little bit of him in our team this season, just gone, but we ended up loaning him out to Maidenhead, where he's had a very productive season for them. He is going to be in and around the first team squad again next season, like he was at the start of this season. There's no one else particularly close. So I'll just scroll through the rest of them so you can have a look, pick out your player, get an idea of where they're currently sat, ability and potential wise. There's a whole bunch. This is the latest load of youngsters who came through this year. As you can see, a lot of quite high potential 16-year-olds have suddenly appeared. So keep an eye on those names and just scroll through, look at the rest of them. So, as usual, if you have previously had a Patreon player and you can't see them there, chances are they've probably left and or retired. So just send me a message on Patreon, ask me, I'll go and have a check. If they've retired, you're eligible to pick a new one from the next update, from the next intake when that comes through. And if you want to get a player for yourself, it's the $20 tier on Patreon, patreon.com/LOLLUJO. And I now promise I won't say Patreon again for the rest of this video. So my plan for the summer really is that I kind of don't have a plan. One thing I have done, which I think is going to lead to a chorus of cheers from the comments section, I finally got some scouting packages. It's just, people have told me so many times before, Kev, the game won't do this for you, the director of football won't do it for you, and I've always thought, I'm sure it does, I'm sure it'll be fine. I actually went and had a look and we were still sat there on no scouting packages. So we've done the most we can afford with the budget we've got at the moment. When we get our new budget, we might adjust this. And I might actually swap it around the other way, because I think it's probably more useful for us to be looking at youth players from the Premier League than senior players in the Premier League that obviously we can't sign. So we might actually switch it back round to Championship and maybe push that up. Ideally, I'd like this maybe up as high as England, but we only had an £80,000 transfer budget, scouting budget last season. So we can't go anywhere near the top of the packages, but we'll see. We'll see how we get on. So we've got some scouting packages now, but I'm pretty comfortable with the squad that we've got. Obviously, I want to try and get Matondo back. I want to try and get Moss back. I want to try and get Sawinski back permanently, I think. I think his contract with Leeds is up. Oh, no, he's signed another extension. So I want to try and get him back on loan again. Same with Rodgers. I want to get all the loanees back who've been any good. But then if we can get all them back, we've got a decent squad that's had a good season. So I don't think we need to change a huge amount. I mentioned in the last video, we do need to do something about the midfield. I don't know what that something is. Hopefully players will present themselves to me to make something happen. But Perry is going to play more games next year unless he leaves this summer. We probably do need another body in midfield. But other than that, probably a goalkeeper. But I'm not going to go out and spend £600,000 on players. Most of it is going to go over the wage budget. And we'll see what we can collect on freebies and what comes out from our new fancy scouting packages that we've got, which hopefully we should get a whole load of new players to pick from. It's revolutionary. Right, new scouting budget is in. We've got slightly more money than we had last season, just under 90,000, so we can just about afford to do that one and almost that one. So I think I'm just going to leave it on, and then we'll have a month or two at the end of the season where we're not doing any scouting, i.e. what we've done for the last 10 seasons. So between now and then, we should get some decent scout reports in, which they're flying in. See, this is much more frequent than they used to be. Who knew? Who knew? We have some more awards coming in. Firstly, we've achieved our record high of 7th place in the Championship. We also just got nearly £5 million of solidarity payments for our top half Championship finish, which means for the first time in the history of the club, we've got over £3 million in the bank. The projection's still looking pretty rough, but we've got over £3 million in the bank at the moment, which is lovely. Where did we get to? Wearmouth Player of the Year. Let's congratulate him for that. Didn't expect that when we brought him in. Harris and Matondo, 2 and 3 for top scorers. Curse you, Jack Clark. These two were so close. Actually, they weren't actually that close, but to have our strike partnership getting, 41 goals between them? That's pretty impressive. Matondo gets Young Player of the Year award. We're having a bit of a clean sweep here if you pretend Jack Clark doesn't exist. We've got player in Team of the Year. Wearmouth makes it into Team of the Year. How neither of our strikers are in, I don't know. And he gets a bonus. And there we have it. So all of a sudden we've got money in the bank. We're still just collecting scout reports. It's not even June yet, never mind the 1st of July. But for the first time ever, we've got a rather pleasant-looking selection of players who are appearing. Ramal Williams is 26, presumably out of contract. I don't really get how at 26 that can be the situation. So, but they say sign him whatever the price. I think we need new scouts. Carl Marsh. I remember that name. Interesting. Perhaps he could be the Matondo replacement. Is he out of contract? Ooh, re-scout him immediately. Right, start of the new loan window, transfer window, etc. Watford went up through the playoffs for those of you keeping score. Should we have a look to see how Chester got on as well, see if they've come up to join us. Well, not via the playoffs. Oh no. I think the Chester road to glory might be over. They've slipped back down to 10th. Did they ever get Richie Wellens back? I know he didn't. He got sacked by Hull almost immediately after going there. He never should have gone. If he'd have stayed, this is why I'm not going to Man City. If he'd have stayed at Chester, they'd be up with us now. But what you going to do? So, jobs for now, for the 9th of June. Firstly, Carl Marsh. We've offered him a contract. Fingers crossed we get to bring him in. I think he'll be the perfect Matondo replacement. He was certainly a good goal scorer for us when he was here before. My one concern maybe with him is he's a little bit closer to an Anthony Harris than a Matondo, but still, he scored goals for us before. He comes highly recommended, and he's as good as Harris or Matondo are. So he's as good as Matondo anyway. He'll certainly be a perfectly adequate backup, and then Sir Mick Powell can be number 4, who, by the way, my assistant manager told me not to offer a new contract to. I've obviously ignored them and offered him another 2-year contract extension, which would keep him here until he's 30. We're going to get this man a testimonial if it kills us both. So that's Marsh's contract offered, but now we need to see how many, if any, of these loans we can extend. Why is the team not... Is the team unselected? It's because I know why. I took the senior squad off of here, didn't I? Right, so we want the players who play regularly. So starting with Rogers. I'm not hopeful. In recent years, we've had real trouble extending loans because the players tend to outgrow us and we didn't get promoted. So Rogers, we can't pay that. Are they going to let us have him? Yes, they are. Excellent. So Rogers, we should be able to keep. Harrison, can we keep him? Let's make an offer, loan offer. Oh, we can have him for free. Excellent. 2 for 2 so far. We're saving the big one for last. Moss, can we keep Moss? It looks like we can. Maybe we can't quite pay his. That's a problem. If we offer that, will that be okay? That means we're paying him more all the time. We'll make that offer. We might have to negotiate that one a little bit. And the big one, Chardonnay, Matondo. Surely Stoke are going to want him in their own team. The ice cream man's here. No, I've got to focus on Matondo. Oh, it's the same situation though. But apparently for Matondo, it's acceptable. We're going to get Matondo for another year. That is massive. We won't offer another contract to Alex Carmichael. That just seems silly. So if we're getting Matondo back, do we need to sign, what's his face, Carl Marsh? Which is why I should stream these windows and I could get your immediate feedback on it. We'll see if they all... We want to focus in on Moss, see if we get him. And we've got the new boys coming in as well, the 2 new signings. And then we'll have a bit of a look at... I think we'll probably just sort these loans, make a decision about Marsh, and then head for the 1st of July. That's the plan. Right, those loans have been accepted apart from Moss. We're still waiting on Moss, I think. Oh, it's been rejected. Right, we really need to... He's important. We want to keep him. So they now want 100%. Why has that gone up? We can afford to do it, though. That's a frustrating thing. What if we put a bit more budget over there? Will that let us get him? Excellent stuff. Hopefully, job done. So that one should be accepted as well. So those, offers all accepted. Hopefully the players will agree to come as well. We've got our 2 new boys in as well. The 2 pre-arranged free transfers. So that's Sumner. And this one is Papo. Definitely need new scouts. We're paying a lot of money, especially to him, for a player who realistically... Never trust your scouts again, Kev. He ain't getting in the team anytime soon. That being said, he's actually not that far behind. We've just got a couple of outstanding midfielders who make everyone else look bad. Maybe he's better than Ian looks on initial inspection. But let's welcome them both to the club and see what else is going on. Didn't it just... Somewhere on here it said that my... Costas is at it. What's he up to? He is making permanent transfer offers. What nonsense is this? Well, we're not going to sign a permanent player without a scout report. We'll take a scout report, but considering one of our best players this season was Gregson, I don't know that we necessarily need to be messing around getting right backs in for £90,000. That seems like a big mistake. Let's wait for the 1st of July or loans being confirmed, whichever happens first. Right, all 4 loan extensions are confirmed. The Karl Marsh deal is confirmed as well. And I think we're going to leave it there until the 1st of July now, because the squad is starting to fill up. The wage budget is definitely starting to fill up. We have just had an offer for Ross Wright come in from Leeds for an eventual £400,000. Absolutely not interested. I just need to make sure the board don't do the dirty on me and go accept some stupid offer. I think what I'm going to do is put a stupid price on him. Oh, in fact, there you go. He's got a minimum fee release clause, so that can be his asking price. In fact, that's for clubs in a higher division. Clubs in this division can give us £3 million for him. And we'd probably accept that. But I don't think we're going to get any more deals sorted before the 1st of July. My director of football has lost his mind. He just offered £250,000 for a left back now. The championship player of the season is a left back. We don't need left backs. Stop offering permanent deals. Although, to be fair, he can't do any loans because I've just done them all. What's the point in having a director of football when I'm doing everything for him? Very unhappy with your performance, Costas. I want to bring back Tom Heaton. Who else noticed I forgot to renew David Sawinski's loan then because he was injured at the end of the season? Don't worry, I noticed. His is extended too. We have released some players, though. It's the 30th of June. Some players are gone. Daly Campbell, but probably most notable amongst them. A couple of other names that were sort of in and around the first team. Vujacic as well has gone. No one really major. These are the players who are out. Paul Perry is forever out of contract. For goodness sake, man, just sign a long-term deal. Don't want any of this nonsense either. Get rid of all this. What is this? No, not a chance. That'll do. Get him on a long-term deal. Who else is out of contract next season? Nobody major. A lot of deadwood that we need to clear out. Same with the youth team. Get some players scouted. The major news, as well as sorting out Sawinski, we've also agreed to re-sign Alex Carmichael permanently on a free transfer from QPR. So we're only paying him £700 a week. We sold him for 1.4 million. I feel like we need to reward him for that by giving him a contract to stick around with us. He'll probably never play. We're constantly turning down offers for Ross Wright. Is there anything else? There's a centre-back we keep trying to sign, but he keeps being awkward. But he's not even showing on there now, so we might get a centre-back. But other than that, we are just about ready for the 1st of July, and this is what the squad currently looks like. So we certainly don't need strikers. We've got another one coming in. We've got Marsh coming in. In fact, we probably need to get rid of O'Callaghan. We've got Moss and Furlong as attacking midfielders. That's fine. Perry, Sawinski, Fernandez as midfielders. Maybe one more there would be handy. Harrison and Phillips is fine as defensive midfielders. I can't remember his name. Wearmouth. There we go. I'm awful with names. Wearmouth and the youngster that we had, whose name I can't remember, will be fine for that side. Gregson, but we probably need a backup to Gregson at right back. Wright and Rogers are fine for centre back, but we do need the new one, at least one more backup. And then priority number one probably is going to be a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper, a midfielder, a right back, and another defender. That's the plan for the 1st of July, which is tomorrow. We'll see what comes up, shall we? And we've finally arrived on the 1st of July, and a couple of inbox messages. Firstly, just confirming that the only two players we'd previously spent money on have both left on free transfers. I should just transfer my entire budget to wage budget now, shouldn't I? This is what the budgets look like. Okay, I really do need to transfer some of this. And we'll just roll that on to about there. We need to save a little bit for signing on fees. Let's put it to about there to give us a little bit of wiggle room. There is plenty of deadwood we want to clear, so there are going to be more players leaving yet. But with the new players in, Marsh, you can see slots in there as a backup striker for us. We have got Carmichael, but doesn't even show on here. I mean, where did his career go wrong? Goodness me. It's almost as if he spent the last 2 years just sat in our reserves and not developing at all. 22 years old, he's played 7 games in his career. QPR must be so annoyed. And yeah, nothing else is on there has changed from when I showed it to you just a moment ago. But it is the 1st of July. Let's have a look to see what our shiny new scouting thingy has shown us. Have we got lots of players available for free? Yeah, but not in positions we necessarily need to strengthen. I need to go through these. I need to get a lot of players in on trial, and we'll work from there. I'm going to go and round up some trialists. Well, much later on the 1st of July, it's been a long day. We've got some ridiculous players in on trial. I haven't even had a proper look through them yet, but some names that I noticed as they were arriving. Luke Shaw, still only 32. 49 England caps. Just a couple of years ago was transferred for £26.5 million. Now, not really much better than Mark Wearmouth. Decent player for League One sides. He has deteriorated quickly. We've also got somewhere, I noticed Borthwick Jackson, he's a Man United one, isn't he? I noticed he was around. He's not even good enough to appear on this screen though. A blast from the past from back in the Borough last year. Jake Laskowski with a regen face. Is it the same guy? Because Jake Laskowski was I thought he was an Arsenal youngster last year. So perhaps it's not the same guy. Perhaps it's not a blast from the past. But with the name Jake Laskowski being a centre-back, I don't know how I avoid signing him. Because he's exactly what we need as a third option at centre-back if we're letting Proctor go. Which we are. We've accepted some offers for Proctor. Hull have offered £74,000 for him, which seems like an excellent deal. So we do need a Laskowski. He wants a lot of money though. Right, let's try and wheedle him down a little bit. We don't want to offer him that much money. That's crazy talk, Jake. Goodness me. He's really... I mean, he drives a hard bargain. 2.5. Not that hard. There we go. So hopefully he'll be in. We do need a backup right back. I'll have a proper look at them in a second. Oh, there's old Borthwick Jackson directly above Luke Shaw. I knew he was around somewhere. He's been playing down in League One, so he isn't any good either. We don't need another left back anyway. I just brought them in to have a little look, really. Who's this guy? Cameron Dawson, who in real life is currently at either Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield Wednesday, I guess. But he's played a lot of championship games in his career. Better than Toby Humphreys. How tall are you, Cameron? 6'4". Excellent stuff. Oh, you want too much money. We need to sell some players before we're able to bring anyone else in. I think I need to calm down on the... I'm going to upset him. He's going to walk. I need to leave the yearly wage rise on. He's only here for 2 years if he signs. No. Right, no more until we can get rid of some players. We'll wait. Well, inexplicably, Laskowski has gone to Wimbledon for less money than we've offered him. And they're in League One. That shows where our reputation still lives in world football. This is going to be problematic all summer long if that's how things are going to be. Right, can we try again with this goalkeeper? Now we've freed up some wage budget by not getting him. No, because he's still got a grumpy on. Fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Are you any good? No, you're too old. I don't want to bring in old men. Pete, no, you're even older. Peter Teasdale. Oh, you like playing as wing back? You sound like my kind of... I mean, you seem perfect. You're going to be expensive, aren't you? You just feel expensive, Peter Teasdale. Not too bad. Get rid of that nonsense, that's for sure. See if we can get you in. Come on, you know. How much money do you need, Peter? For goodness sake, you're not even going to be playing every week. There's a lot of very good midfielders who've arrived, but he's old. Do we really need a midfielder? He's older. And he is only 22. You feel like my kind of player. We'll just throw all the money at you. We can't. We don't know. We've done it again. We've made the same mistake that we just made. I want to get rid of all of this. Yikes. Can I adjust the budget? Budget adjustment. Why? We've got... Can we postpone? Can we come back to you? What can I offer him? Because I really want... Let's put some of this stuff back on the table. I don't mind him being on a big... Stick all this stuff back on the table. Let future Kev worry about it. Stick these up to... I mean, look, we can give him loads here. Right, hold on. You're going to be playing, so I have big money here. Oh, that's just avoiding relegation. If we avoid relegation, you can have a big bonus. Stick that up there. Stick that up there. How much? What else do you want? What else could we possibly give you? No. Rats. Well, I want him, and I want the goalkeeper. They're the two that I want from this batch. Can we extend their trials? Because we're going to run out of trial time. Oh. We need to get rid of some players. We've got offers in for several players. We just need them to get lost. I need to add those two to a shortlist so I don't forget their names. Well, it's the 13th of July, and unless we can shift some deadwood, nobody's leaving. Proctor has turned down offers to leave. Paliak has turned down offers to leave. O'Callaghan, no one's making offers for, although it looks like there are offers in for him now. Who else? There was another one who I'm trying to get rid of, and I don't remember who it was. Regardless, there's lots of people turning down offers to leave. It's troublesome. Bakinson has left for quite good money, as has fourth choice keeper Miles Roberts, and we've replaced them with two of the players we were just looking at. So Peter Teasdale has come in as another option for us at right back. So we do now have two right backs at the club, which is very handy. And Adrian Knowles is yet another young, promising central midfield player. And yeah, we you know the mould we buy in central midfield. We've got another one. So there's four of them in there now who are all pretty much the same player. That's how I fixed my midfield. I identified I wanted to fix the midfield. I've done it by bringing in more of the same. I don't see how that could possibly be a bad idea. This is what the squad currently looks like. So I think we're set for strikers. O'Callaghan can leave. We're fine for attacking midfielders. We're definitely fine for this particular type of central midfielder. Harrison and Phillips are fine there. I've done a great job of fixing the midfield after identifying I needed to do it. Wearmouth and the youngster whose name I can't remember will be fine at left back. Paliak can leave. Gregson and Teasdale definitely fine at right back. We still need a goalkeeper. I'm still trying to get Dawson, the one we were looking at before. Wright and Rogers are definitely good enough to start, but we don't really have very good backup centre-backs. So we could do a third centre-back and then keep one of either Proctor or Connor. And then we're about there. But the problem is we've spent every penny we had. We've already maxed out for loans. Unless we get a crazy offer in, there's nothing more we can do now until the season expectations day, when we can lower them again and steal some money like we did last year. And we are absolutely going to be doing that. So we might... The next thing you see will either be me doing that, my director of football bringing in a loan that we won't be able to play because you're only allowed 5 in the matchday squad, or it'll be a big offer for a player I don't want to sell. Answers on a postcard about which one of the three it's most likely to be. Well, in the end, it could have been any of them. We turned down an offer for Lerick Fernandez, £250,000. He's still only 24 years old. He's still a young player with potential, but we really don't want to be selling him again. He's our best midfielder. We've turned that down. We have made an offer for... We've sold another player. We sold Paliak for 30,000. So that's allowed us to make an offer for... Where is he? Cameron Dawson. So hopefully he's going to be coming in to play in goal for us. And my director of football has made an offer on loan for another attacking midfielder. A player we absolutely don't need and won't be able to play. But what are you going to do? But more importantly, this has come around. So how much more money can we squeeze out by doing this? I mean, it didn't do us any harm last year. Another £600,000. Is that what that is? The current... Another £600,000 of transfer budget. So same again, please. Oh, that's so helpful. So helpful. And now we can turn it all... Let's say turn a big chunk of it. I want to get the wage budget to 100,000, but we can't. We can just do it, but I want to save some in transfer budget, for signing on fees. We'll do it to there. And now we're back on again, boys and girls. I decided to go in a different direction with my goalkeeper. I've signed a much more Kev-style goalkeeper, 23 years old, Northern Irish under 21 international. Can't get any of my words right. But he's 23. He's about equivalent ability to Humphreys, but massive potential. potential to be a very, very good goalkeeper. So he can come in and just offer some competition to Humphreys without actually having to force him out of the team. So that's a much more me signing. We've also brought in Michael Wharton, who's an attacking midfielder, pretty much same standard as Moss. They'll just be interchangeable because when one of them's playing, the other one won't be able to be on the bench unless one of the other loanees is injured or not selected. So he comes in. We'll probably let Furlong leave now. And we've also let O'Callaghan leave. He's gone to Gillingham, now managed by Richie Wellens, who had a right whinge at me in the media. He apparently doesn't think I'll last long here at home. It's been 10 years, Richie. You were managing Chester for 6 of them. We came up the leagues together, remember? Apparently he doesn't. And Archie Proctor has gone out on loan to McDon's down in League 2. So that means with a couple of days left until the start of the season, we've still got loads of transfer budget and loads of wage budget left. But pretty slim pickings if we actually have a look. We'll just get these all scouted and trials offered. If we have a look at what we've actually got scouted, despite having our fancy new scouting packages, unattached players, there's really not a lot. I mean, we don't need another left back, and I mean, he looks lovely, but we don't need him. So I feel weird. I'm Kev and I'm saying things like that, but we just don't need him. Or do we? Actually, looking at the first team for left backs, we perhaps could, but we need a centre back for sure. We've got a goalkeeper now. Humphreys just needs, between Humphreys and Watson, they need to decide which one of them is going to become a proper championship keeper. Perhaps we will look at that left back because we've got a bit of a vacancy there. We definitely need some cover at centre back, especially with Proctor leaving on loan, and the rest of the team is set. So defenders is what we need. So let's go back to the scouting page. Now we've got all this spare budget, I am going to make an offer for this guy, just to offer some competition to Wearmouth. So that's him, and we really, really need a centre back. We've made an offer for this guy, who's currently on trial at Hendon, but he's just one for the future, 5-star potential type fella, and there's just nothing else. I've asked my director of football what he thinks we should do. If I ask him for free transfers at centre-back, he offers me a 31-year-old, who I think we might have to sign just for the sake of having a player. But it's a very uninspiring signing again. How much can we get him for? Costas, how much do you want to pay him? I mean, this feels like a lot of... A 3-year contract with a 31-year-old? No. No. That's not how it works. And we don't offer signing on fees at home, even though I save money for them. Right, you're definitely not having a 3-year contract, and you're definitely not having it anywhere near that amount of money. So, yeah, I thought as much. Not interested. If we have a look at centre-backs just to sign, if we can find some money to spend, look at these are the kind of players. Look at these salaries. We need someone to magically come up on a scout report quick. Remember how on the last episode I said there wouldn't be a video out on Sunday, today, this video, because I wasn't going to have time to record it. It's gone 10 o'clock on Friday night. I've got to be up before 6 in the morning to catch an early train down to London for EGX Rest. I'm at the football back in Peterborough tomorrow afternoon. I've got such a busy day ahead of me. I've still got to edit the vlog. I wish I hadn't bothered. This has been the least eventful transfer window ever. It's the first day of the new season and this is all we've done. We've basically cleared out all our fringe players and replaced them largely with players not quite as good. Is the feelings I've got for this at the moment. Sumner and Papo have been disasters. Papo, $3,500 a week we're paying him. He's going to go out on loan to Mansfield. Mansfield playing the conference, I think. He's going out to Mansfield for the season. They're not contributing towards his wages. Oh, the Conference North. Terrific. $3,500 a week to play for someone else in the Conference North. I'm never signing players early based on my idiot scouts recommendations again. Carl Marsh, I'll grant you, is a good signing. He was good for us before. He'll offer competition for Matondo and Harris, as will Semic Powell. He's a good signing. I can handle that one. Carmichael is pure nostalgia and he's never going to make it. I predict now, when's his contract expire? 2030. I predict by the age of 25, Alex Carmichael will have retired. And he'll probably have played less than 10 games of league football, despite having his £1.4 million transfer. I still don't understand that one. Teasdale is a good option at right back. Is he significantly better than what's his face, who he was replacing, who we released on a free, Daly Campbell? Probably not significantly better. The jury's out at the moment. Knowles is a good signing, but he is no different to the rest of the midfielders that we've already got. And again, is he loads better than Bakinson? Wharton, we can't play. Watson isn't as good as Humphreys, but I mean, there's a lot of players that have got potential. It feels like I've subliminally been putting together a team to win League One next year. Thompson isn't good enough to play yet. He's another one with potential. We were a couple of players away from the playoffs last year, and I still think that's the case now. Luckily, the transfer window isn't over. We have still got money to spend in both budgets, quite a lot of money in both budgets. So hopefully we can bring some more players in. Lee Bradley looks like a good option at left back. Kenny Jack is another one that I'm looking at bringing in. Just in case we decide to play with wingers, plus he's another option as a striker. You can never have too many strikers. Well, I do worry a little bit that bringing this guy in might be the final nail in Sir Mick Powell's coffin. But might bring him in. We're looking at him. And then, I mean, the bank balance looks good. We need defenders. We need them desperately. If anyone can play centre-half, send me like a skills video on Instagram. And if you're any good, you get a contract. And someone in this midfield needs to step up this season. I suspect it might be Perry and Knowles around midfield partnership by the end of the season. I think Sawinski and Fernandez might have topped out because they don't seem to be advancing at the same rate as the likes of Harris, for example. But then, putting all of that in context, after being Mr. Negativity, I then look at Matondo and think, right, he's an England under-21 international at age 20. He was the Championship Young Player of the Year, finished third on the top goal scorer chart. He's a player with enormous potential. He's been away playing in the under-20 Euros or something this summer, playing for England constantly. And if we look at star rating, he's not the best striker we've got at the club. He's no better than our two attacking midfielders. He's no better than our defensive midfielder. He's not as good as our two centre-backs. He's no better than our left-back and our right-back. So on that basis, it's still a very strong team. It's just not a very deep squad. And there are still some significant gaps in it. But I guess with the budget we're dealing with, there's going to be. It's the first game of the new season. I don't know what my team is. It'll be a surprise for you in the next episode. That's the team from the last day of last season. There's every chance it might well be that one. But I need to get this edited and edit the vlog and go to bed because I've got to be up super early in the morning, or yesterday morning as you're watching this. I hope you appreciate me staying up late putting together a transfer special for you. I know it wasn't the most exciting one I've ever done. I'm hoping we'll make it awesome in the next episode by just bringing in another 5 players and just adding the finishing touches to the squad or winning both matches or something. But if this was non-league to legend, I'd be thinking, I think I've taken this club as far as I can. We don't have the resources to push on to that next level. We've hit this wall before where the players that we can bring in aren't good enough to improve us, but the players that we want to bring in, the ones that will improve us, have got absolutely no interest in signing for us. And the only way to get around that is to massively overperform for a season. But we did that last year and fell at the final hurdle. And I still think we're candidates for relegation this year. The media agree. The board agree. I hope this is just tired evening, Kev, drinking coffee out of a Football Manager mug at gone 10 o'clock on a Friday. I'm so cool. This is what I wanted to be when I was a teenager. Sat in my garage with a broken heater in the cold on a Friday night drinking coffee, wearing a wrestling hoodie, a video game t-shirt and a Football Manager mug. Oh, what have I done with my life? What a way to end the video. So we're going to be back on Tuesday with the first game of the new season. 4 o'clock on Tuesday, because remember, Easter schedule. And we're going to win both games and we're going to win the championship this year. And that little negativity speech will be made to look stupid. Or I look like a genius because we get relegated. Either way, I'm a winner here, so I can live with that. If you have enjoyed that video, apart from the last 3 minutes or so, I might edit that out. I haven't got time to edit it out. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.